Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage podcast with your host, Brett Boven. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Whitetail Advantage podcast. I'm your host, Brett Boven, along with my co-host, Johnny Nitro, the host of the Mysteries in the Timbers show. Check them out every other Tuesday at 9 p.m. on our YouTube channel. It's going fucking great. We just had Papa Squatch on his latest show. That was actually a really fun and interesting to see.
Dude, that episode was wild, man, for sure.
I was talking to a future guest that's going to be coming on. I don't want to say his name yet, but I was talking to him, and him and I both agreed you could see the excitement in his eyes when he got to share his story, like for the very first time, and sharing it to like outsiders essentially. And it was just cool to see like the excitement that he was finally sharing that story, by the way.
Oh, dude, absolutely. And, you know, Squatch has been texting us that, man, thank you so much for having him on and getting his story out there. So, yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. We got the Blind Hunter one in there. What's up, buddy? And
we also have Gerard from Rat Gator in here.
He's actually going to be one of the guests coming up here in a couple shows once we get the date.
Nice.
So tonight, been in the works and actually talking to him about it. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put it in the works. I'm just going to make it the show for Sunday's show. And tonight he's talking about the complete whitetail hunter. And I wanted to say tonight isn't about being the best hunter in the room. It's about what makes a complete one. And I want to start off by asking this. When I say a complete hunter, I'm not talking about killing deer yet. What does that phrase mean to you?
To me, jack of all trades, master of none. Someone who hunts, a complete hunter, small game, waterfowl, whitetail, elk, muleys, everything like that.
I got the pussy back in me.
Yeah, he's being all loud. But no, I think a complete hunter is someone who hunts whatever's in season, who has that passion, that drive to get out there when it's fucking -6 like it was this morning hunting geese, and just who puts in the work. It does. I mean, we've seen 2 geese, probably 100 sandhill cranes, and never fired a shot, but we all laughed. We had fun. It was a great time.
For me, I used to think it was getting a deer in general, getting antlers up on the wall. But now, and that was when I was 12. Now I'm 31 years old, be 32 in September. Got about 20 years underneath my belt, essentially. In my opinion, what makes a complete hunter is the decision makings that you make, the discipline that you have as a hunter as well, and how you carry yourself in and out of the woods. That's what I think makes a complete hunter. And the things that you're doing, the prep work, and making good ethical decisions when it comes out into the woods as well. That, like I said, I think that's what makes a complete hunter. I do want to ask everyone out there watching, what do you guys think what comes to your mind when you think of a complete hunter? What makes a complete hunter to you guys? So that's my curiosity. Over the time, how has that shifted from when you started off? How old were you when you first started hunting? I mean, you actually started recently, didn't you?
I started bow hunting recently. Well, yeah, we'll say I really got into it within the past 5 years. I grew up hunting as a kid, small game hunting out, in the state game area, don't shoot squirrels and rabbits. Did a little bit of deer hunting, and then after high school, I joined the Army, so I was out of it for 10 years. I did a little bit of hunting while being in, but then really got back into it after I was out and I was able to pull back a bow again, and it just set it off. And chased whitetails all over the place. Last year I was out did some elk hunting out in Oregon, which was awesome. And then this year, my buddy Chris, he's like, dude, you got to come waterfowl hunting. Come duck hunting with me. And I've been duck hunting a couple times, but I was in Missouri. And it was a choice. It was either duck or deer. And if I'm in Missouri, I'm going to hunt whitetail. That was it. So I did one morning duck hunt, and I was like, yeah, I'd rather be in the deer woods. And then hunting duck on public waters this year, dude, that's going to be my new thing. Like come November, like after the first week of November, I'm switching all my focus to duck. I mean,
really?
Yeah. That way I'm out of the woods, out of the deer woods where everyone hunts public and just starts shooting everything. I can be out on the water. I can do some duck. I'll have all of October and the first part of November to bow hunt. And after that, it's waterfowl, it's geese, it's just chasing birds.
I want to take a second. I just noticed that the shadow of my microphone or whatever in here makes it look like I got like a double chin and I look like a really big, giant, fat ass. I'm not calling
Well, it makes you look like you have a triple chin. The double chin.
I mean, look at that. I mean, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah.
For everyone listening, Brett is a little on the fluffy side, but he's not morbidly obese yet. He's got about 3 pounds to go.
Yeah. I weighed myself the other day. I was at like 205 because I was like, I hadn't worked out truly in a couple months. And because I remember back in March of last year, I weighed like 225. I was really getting up there. And then down by September, I got to 200. And so I gained about 5-6 pounds of pure just drinking beer. So,
well, what also people don't understand is you're only 5'3".
Yeah, I'm a midget.
Yeah. Brett's legally a midget. So like when he's out saddle hunting, he's literally like 6 feet in the air and he's like, dude, this is too high for me. It's all right, little feller. I'll lift you up there a little bit more.
Scoot you on up there. What when you were young compared to now, where do you think your mindset has changed?
Oh man. When I was younger, I didn't know shit about hunting. Like I didn't have good influences. I was told to sit here, and if it's brown, it's down. That was it. I had no, this is why we're doing this. This is why you should do this. Squirrel hunting, it was walk around and look for a fucking squirrel to shoot. And that kind of set hunting on the back burner for me a little bit because it was kind of lame in my eyes. And once I started really getting into bow hunting and really figuring it out and started to really try to get into the mind of the whitetail and see what they do and understand why they do things, it lit a fire under my ass that hasn't stopped burning.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to go out there. I want to know everything I can. I want to learn everything I can about them. I mean, I listen to different podcasts about hunting. I talk to a lot of people about it. And what's crazy is I have buddies that would reach out to me and be like, dude, what do you think about this situation? Or I want to hunt over this bedding area. What's your thoughts on this? Or what's your thoughts on that? Where should I put a stand? And I'm like, dude, you've been hunting a lot more than me. And they're like, yeah, but you know what you're doing. I'm like, but it's just, to me, it's common sense. I want to know everything I can, but I have buddies that can only get out a couple times a year. Mm-hmm. So I will do what I can to help them out to maximize their time spent in the woods. They can't spend I didn't miss a single day in October of hunting. I had buddies that would only go out 2 or 3 times in October. And I'm like, dude, I will help you out in any way I can. And once I started learning e-scouting and doing that, I just got hooked. And then running trail cameras, you start running one camera and you start seeing pictures. And then before you know it, Amazon's dropping cameras off like every day. And you're paying like $200 a month in subscriptions. And you're like, I need more. So like I have a closet full of trail cameras that I haven't even put out yet, but they're ready to go.
Yeah. I think you hit a good point where a lot of the blue collar hunters out there, I'd say almost every hunter out there is working as a full-time job. They're not, and I don't like using the term professional hunter, even though like the ones on TV, like the Crush and what are they called? The bone collectors,
Yeah.
those guys. I still don't even like when they be called professional hunters, but that's what they do. That's what they get paid to do, is to make TV content like that. So they get to go hunt year round. Us, on the other hand, I have to burn PTO to go hunting. And I make sure to set PTO time for hunting. And it's hard to find that fine line between like regular life and hunting life. And so like every day in October, I leave like around 2:30 to go out in the woods. And then I take like 2 to 3 weeks off towards the end of October before the gun season starts here in Michigan. I set my time up. That's like priority number one to me. And the reason I say that is because I lost my train of thought there. I just had it and I lost it. Son of a bitch. Crap. Now I can't remember.
Well, no, like I did it because I was working, I worked a full-time job as well. And my boss was super lenient. I was able to come in late so I could hunt the mornings. I'd work 4 hours. I'd leave at 2. 2 to 3, I'd leave work, go out, sit until dark, and then just drive back to work and finish out an 8-hour day. So that was pretty convenient. I was able to do that, and that was awesome. But then you're talking about, getting PTO and everything like that. Well, I put in for 2 weeks to go out to Oregon to hunt elk and bear. And then of all years, I get drawn for my Michigan bear tag this year. And my hunt dates were right when I got back from Oregon. So I'm like, well, now I've burned all my PTO. Do I take time off and not get paid for it? And I thought about it, and I just couldn't afford it. I mean, so being an all-around hunter is kind of like, you have to know what you can hunt reasonably. Like, there's no way I could have gone 2 weeks out there in Oregon. I drove all the way back to Michigan. I would have had 1 day to pack all my stuff back up for bear, and then drive another 10 hours into the UP to hunt bear for another week. Like, then trying to organize the whole family to work and hunting ratio. And my scenario is different. I'm divorced and I have my kids on the weekends. Well, I'd already missed 3 weekends with them, and I was like, I can't miss another 1, possibly 2 weekends. So you have to know when to say you can't do something. And that's probably the hardest part, because I always wanted to get a Michigan black bear. And I had my chance, and I chose elk over black bear, and I chose my kids over the hunt. So, and there's not a bad thing about that.
No, you made the right. I would have done the same thing. And let's
You
take
had
a
the
second.
opportunity. I invited you.
You did. And let's just take a second to look back at this, at a small detail. You drove basically 2 days from Oregon to Michigan.
Yeah, it was a 38-hour drive.
Yeah. And then you want to like look around and then swing back around and drive another like 10 hours back up to you. Like, man, I don't even know if I want to take the drive. Fuck that. I don't even know if I would have done it just for that part alone.
The drive was fun coming back from Oregon until I hit like Nebraska.
I was going to probably say about Nebraska area. You were like, yeah, I'm done.
We're lame. There's nothing there. I mean, I'm going through Idaho and everything like that, and I'm seeing antelope and stuff, and I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. Then you hit Nebraska, and you're like, all right, this is land of giant deer. You hit Nebraska and Iowa, and I'm looking around, but dude, there's nothing.
Just flat
and cornfields.
Yeah, that would be.
It's like, man, I know there's some trophies out there right now.
I do want to take a second because you brought up a good point that I was going to be getting into, and it's a good transition into it. Balancing family life. For me, I told my wife on day one, on our very first date, that I'm a hunter. And in the fall, Sunday through Friday, I'm going to be in the woods and dependent on weather. But just predict Sunday through Friday, I'm going to be in the tree. And on Saturdays, because I love my college football, my butt sits in the chair and I sit and watch college football on Saturdays. That's what I do from October 1st through November 14th for hunting wise. And then I continue Saturdays for college football. Now, she's known that from day one. She grew up in a military family. She grew up in the outdoors. So she knew what she was getting into from my side of it, but she also understood what it's like being with somebody that is a hunter. Yeah. And I'm curious, I'll say this, it still causes somewhat of, I don't want to say strain, but now that at the beginning when it was just me and her and we didn't have kids, it was fine because she just sit at home and it's her nice, peaceful, quiet time and do whatever she wants. Now she's got two crotch goblins and they're loud and banging around and not going to sleep. So it's kind of exhausting. So it's kind of at the beginning point before the kids, it seemed like, great. Yeah, this is awesome. But then once the kids came, there's a new evolution of it because now she's getting a little bit stressed out. It's basically just her raising the kids throughout this time. And then I'm starting to feel guilty because I just feel like I'm out in the woods almost every day hunting and I'm missing time.
Yeah.
But it's time when I know this is who I am. I love hunting. And even if I wasn't doing Whitetail Advantage and filming my stuff, I still would be out there in the woods. And it's something that I'm going to be teaching my kids and they'll be doing the same thing. And I say that because I think it wasn't last Halloween, but the year before, 2 years ago, I went out on Halloween and my son, I can't remember how old he was, I was like 1. It was a perfect weather wise in my mind. It was like perfect storm leading up to it, like the perfect weather leading up to Halloween. And then Halloween day itself, the day was a trifecta of amazingness. And I was like, I didn't see anything at the end of the night. And my wife told me she took the kids to our local church to do some trick-or-treating in the church because it was raining and snowing. I was like, oh, that's perfect weather for me. And I missed it. And I wouldn't say I necessarily regret it, but I was like, man, I missed an opportunity. And now, ever since then, I'm not missing a Halloween with the kids. I can't do that. I'll pass up hunting for that. Family time is most important to me. And I say it also because I'm curious on how has hunting affected you in your family time and stuff like that? Or,
well, did you hear I was divorced, right?
Yeah.
So, when I really got into, when I started getting back into hunting, I was still in the Army. I was in the transition period of getting retired out. And I applied for a hunt, the same hunt I was talking about, and it was a ducks and bucks. It was in Missouri and Kansas. So you could hunt with rifle in Missouri for whitetail. And then the same time you could hunt archery in Kansas with whitetail. And I got picked up for this group. It was a Wounded Warriors and Action Foundation. I went with them and I got accepted for it. I was super stoked. And it just happened to fall on my ex-wife's birthday. So I asked her, I was like, well, I really want to do this, blah, blah, blah. So I did. She was a little pissed about it, but hey, whatever. And I kind of felt bad, but at the same time, this is an opportunity that I just don't get. Fast forward a couple years, I actually did that hunt a couple times. And each time, once it fell on her birthday, and then the next it fell like the day after her birthday. But I've missed her birthdays. Thankfully, all of my kids are born in the summer. So I spend all their birthdays with them. That I didn't plan it that way. It just happened. So that was nice.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of strain because I would go out hunting and there would be times where I would shoot a deer in the morning, take it back home, get it hung up and cut it all up if it was warm. You know, sometimes in October it could be 80s. So I'd get it all cut up, put in the fridge and save it. You know, I'd finish cutting it up later on and I'd go right back out. And should be a little upset. More upset when the kids were younger. I mean, I've got 3 of them, so they're all aged pretty, I think 13, 8, and 6. So they're all younger. Then I started bringing out my oldest daughter hunting with me a lot. And that was a lot nicer, spending time with her out there. Her first time I took her out hunting, she shot a deer. She was 4, which was pretty sweet. And then after that, the second year I took her out hunting, she's seen nothing. And she's like, this sucks. I'm like, well, you got lucky the first year. And that turned her off of hunting. And she didn't want to hunt anymore. She's been out a couple times with me just to go out. But she's huge into fishing. So she wants to fish all the time. So I take her fishing quite a bit. My middle daughter is 8 now. And she wants to get into bird hunting with me. She doesn't want to shoot a deer because she loves Bambi, but she wants to shoot ducks and geese. And I'm like, that's awesome. So I'm in the market for like a little 410 for her right now. And then my son just wants to be outside. It doesn't matter what he's doing. But all 3 of my kids have bows. We all shoot in the summer outside. I have different targets out, set them out, and they'll sit there and they'll shoot bows with me all day. They love it. And even if they don't ever want to deer hunt, I'm okay with that. As long as they still want to go out there and shoot bows with their old man, I'm okay. And we'll do that. But as for major holidays, Christmas, it's different now that I'm divorced and I only see my kids on the weekends and on holidays. So I take full advantage of that. But before, it would be major holidays I would spend with them. Birthdays, I never had to worry about that. I was never in the woods. But if it was prime conditions or at least the first 2 to 3 weeks of October, I was out almost every day. I would go to work and shoot right into the woods. But yeah, it puts a strain on your marriage for sure.
It takes a good person to understand and a good communication. Before I make my point, Rat Getter here made a comment. I've never missed one of my son's football games. Oldest just played his last college game, and now my youngest is going to play college football. So 4 more years, and then it's all about me, LOL.
That's right.
No,
yeah, I've never missed my daughter's soccer games or gymnastic meets or anything like that. My son just sits outside and digs a hole, and he's happy. But yeah, my daughters, whenever they were in sports or anything, I've never missed them.
Yeah, I'll never miss that. I told myself once I have kids, then those take priority over anything else. For instance, my dad, I joined a Friday night golf league, and I asked him because when I got to senior year, I was playing on Friday Night Lights. I asked, excuse me, I asked him what he did for his Friday night golf league. He said he just found a sub. I couldn't miss up watching him play. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be. I felt bad because my daughter, she had like this little cheer thing. She's in competitive cheer right now. She's 5. And she went and did one on Friday for the local school that she goes to. And I was like, well, do I go? Do I not go? This and that. And I kept debating about whether or not to go. I didn't go because I found out they were only going to be there for like 5 minutes. I was like, to go do that. And I had made sure she filmed it all. And even just missing that and passing that up, I still feel guilty to this day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I still feel guilty from not going even just to church with them when it was that on Halloween. But they are young and they still don't even grasp what's going on. So I played that factor into it as well. So as a father, a man and a husband, when you have kids, if you ever have kids later on, these are things that you're going to have to ask yourself what to prioritize, basically. And you have to realize some things are going to take a mental strain on yourself. You might be growing, like when I was young, I still love hunting, don't get me wrong, but my priorities have all shifted now. And it's just the evolution of man, or like of men that will get married and they have kids eventually. It all just swifts and changes in different forms and fashions. And I'm not saying it's bad or wrong or anything like that. It's just how it is. And if you don't get married and have kids, nothing wrong with that either.
No.
But if you do have them, these are things you have to like really start to look at and make sure that you find the right person and understand you, and make sure that they know right away. And I told my wife, and you made a good point about like birthdays and stuff. My wife's and I wedding anniversary is on October 25th.
You're an idiot.
Well, this is a couple of things of it that went into play. I wanted to be in the fall, and
why?
Her and I both wanted it to be in the fall because we just love the fall. And this is when it really gets stupid. At the time, we picked a day that Oregon football didn't play. It was a bye weekend for them. And I did think in the future about how the day would just fall along and stuff like that. And so, and my family growing up, I think once I got to about, I don't know, freshman year of high school, we still celebrated holidays on the actual day, but then we started just kind of like celebrate them like the day before, the week before, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think I took that into my own marriage with my own kids now, of like, I'll celebrate her and I's anniversary the week before or week after, something like that. And we're okay with it because we both understand. And luckily my son's birthday is in April. My daughter is on November 16th. I don't gun hunt, so I don't have to worry about that. And yeah.
See, my ex-wife's, her birthday was November 14th. So she's like, "Oh, I know you always remember mine because the day before opening season." I'm like, "Yep, this is true." And then I got into bow hunting, and I realized now October 1st is opening day. I'm like, "All right, now I don't have to worry about that."
Well, then you got the rut though.
Yeah, which is usually the first part of November. So by November 14th, I tried to be out of the woods, but it never happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I also want to take this into a direction of like mental toughness, because like I said, it still takes strain on me when I get home. I feel like when I'm out in the woods, I'm enjoying the woods, but if I don't see anything or I'm done for the day, I'm like, all right, let me pack up and I drive home real quickly so I can see my kids before they go to bed. And it takes a mental strain on yourself, at least for me it does in its own sense. I kind of get distracted out there in the woods. I'm curious on just the mental strength and what mental weaknesses in general for a hunter, like what mental weaknesses show up to you in the woods first?
Oh man. So when I'm out there, when I was married and I'd been out there for a lot, or if my kids had something going on, I mean, it could be nothing. They might have some friends over or something like that. I'd be in the tree and I'd be like, man, I wonder what they're doing. And they're fine. They're having fun, right? They know I'm out hunting. If I'm going to be home, I'm probably not going to be playing with them anyways. I'll be cooking dinner or cleaning or doing something, right? And I'm like, and it took me a while to realize, okay, well, the family's going to be fine if I'm not there. The world's not going to fucking fall apart if I'm not there. And once I came up with that, it made me feel a lot better. And then 5 years, well, just over 4 years ago, my mom died on Halloween. And I remember it was a couple days later, I went out into the woods in this brand new property I was able to hunt. Never hunted it before, and I'm up there, and I was like, just sitting there thinking about all sorts of shit. And I was like, man, all right. I'm like, just, Mom, make this happen. Make something happen. Because I was in a bad spot mentally, because it was a shock to everyone. It happened just like that. She went in for routine surgery on a Thursday, and that or on the 28th, she went in for routine surgery. On the 31st, she was dead. So it happened fast. And I remember sitting in the tree, and I was like, man, like, send me something, Mom. I don't want to shoot anything. I just want to see something. And as soon as I thought that, 3 does that came out. And I'm like, all right, this is cool, This is awesome. And that made me feel a lot better. I never shot one of them. I just watched them for a little bit, and sun went down. I went to my truck and drove home. And then, but dealing with a bunch of shit that I've dealt with and losing friends in the Army, whether combat, suicide, or drugs or anything like that, I would get into the tree stand and I would start thinking about those dudes. Like, whenever I was having a bad day, right? You fucking feel depressed and down, and you're just like, fuck this. I don't want to do it. And I'll make myself get into the woods to hunt, and I'll just sit in the tree. And whether if I seen a deer or not, I'd be in the tree just at peace with everything, and just clear your mind. And I've got more help mentally from fucking hanging from a tree, freezing my ass off, just watching the forest either come to life in the morning, or watching all the animals, or watching turkeys roost and the deer walking into their bedding area, and the raccoons and shit coming out in the evening. Like, that was just, it's helped me so much doing that. And just having that mindset, you're close to nature. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. Like, the forest for me is my church. And I'll just go out there, and you're so close to God, watching everything, and you're seeing things that everyday people don't see, and just appreciating nature. And that's helped me out so much.
You guys know, obviously, I was in law enforcement. I took a year off of law enforcement because of some things I saw, and I had no problem sharing it. One event, I had to help 2 suicides when I was working in the jail, and these suicides were, one was a hanging. I had to hold his body up while my partner cut the noose, and the other one, that was a unsuccessful one. Successful one for us, luckily, so he survived. The other one was a successful one on the inmate, because he did fully kill himself. So I'm over his yellow body, trying to resuscitate him, to give him CPR. And then weeks after that, I went and I had to watch an inmate basically eat his arm, and it's still graphic to my mind. I remember it like it was yesterday, but I'm not going to go into full detail about it. It's extremely graphic. And there was one event actually before those suicides that you would think it was like a Saw, like the movie Saw, how he would make them torture themselves. Yeah. This guy was doing essentially something like that with his own body and writing it up on the wall with his own blood. I was just mentally, I said this, I'm trying not to cuss some more. I was just mentally fucked, man. Like I had to take a year off of work because I mentally couldn't handle everything. And it wasn't like it was like overtime, because I was in law enforcement for 7 years. Those specific events happened like back to back to back to back to back, basically. My brain didn't have a chance to fully comprehend and digest everything on each individual event. It just like all happened. So I'm trying to like digest it all at once.
Yeah.
And my therapist even said, like, you didn't get a chance to do that. Your brain didn't get the opportunity. And when I went out in the woods, there's a quote out there. It was something like, the weight you carry into the woods is never as heavy as the one coming out of the woods. And being out there in the woods, it took me a while to actually enjoy hunting, because you're out there in silence. And in my mind, if you have a lot of things going on, it can be a good and a bad thing because it's so silent. Because then all you're thinking about is all those things. But at the same time, you're enjoying being out there, so you can actually enjoy the peace and really take that stuff in and let it sink into you and start grasping all those things. So it can be good or bad depending on how you look at it. And like I said, it took me, I think, a good 2 years to finally sit back out there in the woods and kind of, I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy hunting, but like fully feel like I'm out there in the woods. I feel like I was
Fully
going out there
immerse
just
yourself
to,
into that environment.
yeah, like I was just out there just to be out there essentially. And that is like the best therapy in the world, to be out there to hunt and to help you mentally, help you get through things with your life. And I think everyone as hunters, we look at hunting, we're out there to try to get the deer, provide food for our family. We also as men, and I'm sure women do the same thing, you go out there to try and get some peace and some sanity and to kind of reflect on your own self, to a chance to kind of reinvent yourself in a sense. And I think if more people got into hunting, you can really be that much closer to God out there in the woods and really immerse yourself out there. And being out there in the peace and quiet of the wilderness, it can really change your mental aspect of it all. And there was another thing I wanted to say was, no, I can't remember right now. But that's one side of mental stability of being out there in the woods. I mean, I think there's a lot of mental aspects of being out there as a hunter. That's just the mental strain of life. Then you got the mental strength of like impatience, your ego, like your emotions. How is that going to affect your hunt on that mental aspect of it all? Like being mentally prepared involves so many aspects in my mind. So for, like I just said, you have life mental strain of it all going out into the woods, but then you also have to take the mental strength of you got to be patient, let it, like your ego put that aside, check your emotions, be out there in the woods and look at that side of it all. There's so many parts of the mental strength, mental stability of going out there in the woods that I think that's how I break it down.
What's crazy is you have those anti-hunters who just assume we go out there and kill everything. Mm-hmm. And chances, like, you talk about like mental strength and everything like that. Dude, I will have a deer show up like clockwork on my trail cameras when I cannot go out. And then I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm taking the day off work. I'm going to go hunt. I'm going to hunt all day because this deer's been out there for the last 27 days in a row at this time. Like he's punching a time clock. And I'll go out there and I'll sit and I'll be cold or it'll be rainy and you don't see that deer. And the next day he might be back on there. But it's like, man, like we do this for fun and we get outsmarted by basically a forest goat.
Yeah.
And we do it over and over and over. So like there's times where I'm talking to like my non-hunting buddies and they're like, dude, why do you do this? And it's like, well, it's fun. They're like, I don't believe you. You go out, you'll send me a video of you sitting in the rain or the sleet and you're cold, you're shivering. I'm like, yeah, it completely sucks. But when I get a deer on the ground, do you see me how happy I am and how excited I am? And it makes it all worth it. Like, so my grandpa, I used to hunt with my grandpa all the time. And when I say hunt, it would be me, my grandpa, and my dad. My dad would walk in and say, hey, you sit here. You sit here. I'm going to go and try to push something out to you. My dad would walk off. And as soon as my dad got out of sight, my grandpa would come up and be like, hey, you want to go to the restaurant and get some French toast? I'm like, yup, absolutely. So that's what we did. And forever, like years, we would do that from the time I was a little kid. And my grandpa never killed anything bigger than a spike. And he loved being outside, but he also loved just spending time with his grandkids. So this year, after I shot my 7, I was like, you know what? The next deer I get is going to be for my grandpa. He's never shot a big deer. I've got big deer on this farm. The next deer is going to be for him. I was going to be super picky about it. Well, I sat out for not very long, 20 minutes maybe. And it started getting dark. I'm like, I'll just walk back to the truck. And as I'm walking out, I see this doe come out. I'm like, that's a big body doe. And it's like, I probably had like 7 minutes of shooting light left. So I take a shot and hit this. It ended up being a spike. I didn't know it was a spike at the time. He turned, ran, died right there. And I was like, all right. Walked up to it, and it was a spike about that tall. And I start laughing. I'm like, no shit. I told him the next deer I shot was going to be for my grandpa. He's never shot anything bigger than a spike, and I shoot my first spike this year. So,
oh man,
it was, and of course I had to call my grandma, and I'm like, well, I shot grandpa's deer. I said, what do you mean? I shot a Michigan 11 point. She said, you got an 11 point? I'm like, no, I shot a spike. So I call it the Michigan 11 point. And she starts laughing. She's like, you know, your grandpa would have done that too. I'm like, no, he wouldn't have, because he wouldn't have been out there. He'd been at a restaurant somewhere enjoying coffee and eggs. But it's going out. It's building those memories for you. It's reliving your childhood memories if you had someone to hunt with. And later on, as my kids are getting older, it gives me a chance to build memories with them. My daughter wants to duck hunt because I told her we don't have to be quiet when we're duck hunting. She's like, well, I want to duck hunt then. I'm like, deal, absolutely. And so if you've never duck hunted or goose hunted, it's so much fun just to sit back, shoot the shit. You're making fun of everyone. You're out there. Then all of a sudden the birds are coming in. It gets quiet. Someone yells, kill them. Everyone starts shooting. You get your ducks and you start shooting the shit again. Like, it's awesome. I love it. And being able to pass that down to the kids is going to be amazing. And for me, bringing my daughters out hunting, I don't treat them as my daughters when we're out hunting. I treat them as a hunting buddy. I'm going to joke around with them a little bit more. I might teach them some colorful language. Like, we're out there to have fun, to cut loose, and just to give them that experience where later on in life they can say, yeah, my dad used to take me out hunting, and now I like to go out hunt. And my daughter is huge into fishing. That's all she wants to do now, and it's great. And I cannot catch a fish to save my life. So she's taught me a whole bunch, which is great. And she's like, I can't believe you don't know this. I'm like, no, I don't. And I will be the first to admit it. So it's fun to share that. And she's teaching me stuff. I can teach her a little bit on tying knots, and that's really about it. Other than that, I'll take the fish off the hook for her, but shit, she's doing that now too. So my days of putting worms on hooks and taking fish off for her are over. So I'm just there for moral support anymore.
It was funny. I can't remember how old it was. I think it was 12. I grew up in the UP, and my grandpa took me ice fishing, and he drove on the ice with his truck. And I was like, first off, it still flabbergasts me of how people do that, of driving in their truck. I don't care how thick that ice is. I know Dave goes out and ice fishes. I can't do that. I'm going to leave that truck up on land. But it's still, I can't believe people do that. But he told me, we drove out there almost to essentially the middle of the lake. And he said, you see those cattails over there? I said, yeah. He said, don't walk by those because that's where the ice is the thinnest and you'll fall through. And of course, me being me, I had to go check the motherfucker out. And yeah. You have to. So we had their dog, and his name was, I think it was Max at the time. Went over there, and I'm like inching closer, and I could see how it thins out, and then you could see the actual water. And what do? I just keep getting closer. I'm like, all right, let's test this. And next thing I know, I fell in the water. And I'm like scared. I feel like I'm going to get trapped underneath the ice. So I'm like holding on. And I'm like, Max, go get grandpa. And I don't remember exactly what happened after that, because all I remember is getting in the truck, and then I'm at my grandparents' house, and they had those old where you throw in the log to heat the house up type houses, in a log cabin type deal. And I'm just like next to the fire. I'm like, all right, trying to warm up. And that was one of my memories. My grandpa, he was big into fishing. He didn't hunt a whole lot. I think he hunted a couple times. But my dad, he was a big hunter. I got that from him. My grandpa on my dad's side, he was more of a fisherman as well. So it was kind of weird how like I had both aspects of it on. I kind of went towards more hunting. But I'm excited to get my kids out there and show them those moments and to create those type of memories. And it's cool to see that your kids are out there, you're creating memories with them. I hope everyone out there that has kids, you're creating memories like that too. And I think as parents, and I say this because, excuse me, I'm still trying to get over a cough that my kids gave me. It's been since like Christmas. And every time I like swallow, there's like a knife. It feels like it's digging in my throat. So I apologize. But I think it was, honestly, my dad and I were both excited when I shot my biggest deer fish hook. But it was the one before that, or the one after that, I can't remember. And it really hit home because I shot the deer and I was like, yeah, that's cool. He's right there. But my dad got more excited than I did. And he was like, oh yeah, good job and this and that. And it was a very big sized deer too. And I think as parents, you get more excited than your kid, or it's for your kid, because you see the excitement that they're having. And don't get me wrong, I didn't just walk up to you and be like, oh yeah, there's a deer, you have to do it. No, I was excited, don't get me wrong. But I think it's just because I saw his excitement. I think he was excited for me. And I think we do that even not as parents, but we do that as hunters in general. Like when I hear you get a deer, or in the group text with everyone else from the team, we're like, oh yeah, good job, brother. And we're all like, dude, I think we do that also as hunters as well. But I think as parents, it's a different aspect of it.
With us, and I can say with us, excuse me, with us on our team, and then with other hunters that I talked to from the social media, events that I've done and talked to people there and met amazing people, to my buddies that I hunt ducks and geese with. It's like, we will talk shit to each other right to our face. I will make fun of them. And it's something you do in the hunting community, right? Your best friends, you're going to talk shit to them, but you don't want them not to be successful. Like when we went out hunting on public, dude, I was hoping you'd get something. It didn't matter what it was. And I was so excited for you. And I'm going to absolutely make fun of you for everything about anything I can out there. Like, I'm going to talk shit to your face. And then when you're in the tree, I'm going to text the other dudes and be like, all right, man, Brett's pretty good, dude. Like, I'll talk shit to your face and say nice things behind your back. And you can do that with true friends. I know that. But with the hunting community, like, social media and all these shorts have just ruined it. For me anyways, because you always see these people posting pictures of giant deer. But some people are cool. There's Instagram pages and Facebook groups and stuff like that where they'll get the biggest deer of their life, like your fish hook or whatever. They'll post a picture of that, and then they go into detail on what led up to that, or how many days they hunted in a row to be able to shoot that deer. And it's not, it's not just a simple story of, I'm going to walk into the woods, I'm going to shoot a 180 class or higher deer and then come out. And it's not a 30-second short. And that's what people don't understand. And when my daughter really got into fishing, she was watching all these fishing YouTube videos of people just hammering bass left and right. And she's like, she even told me, she's like, that's not real, because I've been out there so many times and I have not caught a bass yet. I'm like, yeah. And it's demoralizing to her because she sees all these kids or all these people fishing, catching giant 8-pounders, and just super excited. Well, last weekend, I think it was, you know who Bill Dance is, right?
Yeah, he sounds familiar. I'm trying to
Yeah,
think.
he's a professional fisherman from like back in the 90s. He was always, he's super funny dude. He's always having like the Bill Dance bloopers on YouTube are just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I put that on for her one day, and she's like, who's this? I'm like, this is Bill Dance. You're going to love this. So I put that on for her, and she's watching, and he's making all the same mistakes and getting his line tangled up in branches and shit, just like she does. I'm like, this guy's a professional bass fisherman. He's won competitions. He's done everything, but it still happens to him. And what's he do? He'll get mad and he'll laugh about it, and he'll just have a good time. He'll make light of the situation. I'm like, so that's what you need to do. It sucks. It's going to happen. But when it happens, just make light of it. If you lose the lure, no big deal. We'll either walk out there and pull it if I have my waders on, or we'll get it. If we don't, we'll just go buy another one. And that's helped her out a lot, where she won't get pissed off so much anymore. And she'll get a lure stuck in the tree and she'll start laughing. She's like, why the hell did I do that? I'm like, you can't be saying that. Like, just calm down. But it gives her a chance to see, like, yeah, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to do stupid stuff to get lures 20 feet in the air. Or I'm going to get a lure stuck on a log in the water. It's not the end of the day. Just keep going.
I think those type of shorts and reels like that, I get it. They're doing it for views and stuff like that. I get that completely. But at the same time, I don't like them because, like you said, it gives a false sense of what it really is. And there's time, like you said, you have to see that this isn't just going out there and like, oh, you can just go out there and shoot a deer. Oh, you just go out there and catch bass every 2 seconds. No, that's not what it is. It's going out there and you're gonna F it up a lot. And you guys know I like to golf. I like watching professional golfers mess up their shots. Like, you'll see, like, I don't think Tiger Woods ever did it, but for instance, like Tiger Woods, he'll hit a tee shot and he'll top it and it goes like 2 feet. And you'll see other ones where they just hit the ball and it just goes shanking off to the right. So the professionals do it too. It happens to everybody, no matter what aspect of it. You're just starting off, or you've been doing it and you're getting paid millions of dollars to do it. You're gonna mess up.
Now,
and that's what people need to see more often.
Have you ever had it where you're getting ready for a hunt and something feels different about that day? So it's happened to me twice this year. And once was on Veterans Day. I was down having lunch at a local place down here. And I joked around. I wasn't sure if it was the beer or not. I only had one. But I had a beer and I'm eating my burger and I'm like, something, I have a warm and fuzzy feeling about today. And I'd been out all morning and I came in for lunch and I was going back out there, and probably 2 hours into it, decent 7-point came out and I shot him. And I knew something was going to happen that day. And then the other time was I went out on December 23rd just to go sit in the woods. I was having a shit day. I brought my bow. I'm going to go sit in the woods and see what I can find. I sat down and I had 8 does come in. I'm just watching them. I'm like, I'm not going to shoot one. I just want to be out here. And the next day I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back out to that spot. I don't know why. I'm just going to go back out there and see what I can find. And if I would have filmed the entire thing, it would have been from the time I left my truck, it probably would have been a 30-minute video. Walk out there, sit in my tree stand. 15 minutes later, I had one doe come out. And I'm like, if she gives me that perfect shot, I'm going to take it. She gave me that perfect shot, so I dropped her. She went 6-7 feet and died. Then 10 minutes later, 2 more does came out, and I'm watching the biggest one. I'm like, if she gives me another shot, I'll take it. And she took the exact same path that the first doe did. I shot her, and she died 10 feet from the other deer. And I'm out. I was in my stand for maybe 20 minutes. And I was like, well, shit. Like, now I have 2 on the ground. There's no tracking. They're 30 yards in front of my tree stand. And I'm like, and as I'm getting down from the tree, there's 2 more doe coming out. And I was like, I still have to get these deer out of the woods. And I've never had to drag 2 deer out of the woods. And that shit kicked my ass. Like, I don't want to swear that much, but dude, that sucked. And if you remember on Christmas, we had no snow. We went
it was like
having
muddy.
a whole bunch of snow to it all being warm and melted. And like you said, it was muddy.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, those deer were just covered in mud by the time I got them back to the truck.
And it was weird. We got like 20 feet of snow.
Yeah.
The first like 2 weeks of December, and then it turned into like 50-degree weather.
Yep. I think Christmas Day it was like 58 or some shit like that. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I was wearing shorts.
Yeah. But you do have those days where, just like a professional athlete, they can hit those shots from the top of the tee no matter what. They're just in that groove. You have that. Well, yeah, you're in a groove. You know, it's just something different about you. You know, you can't miss a shot. You can't miss a throw. You're hitting, you know, I don't know about golf. I don't play that shit, but you're hitting your ball perfect, whatever. And then when it transitions to hunting, you're like, something's going to happen today. I don't know what it is. And you might not shoot a deer, but like I've had it where I'm like, I feel pretty good. And I'll see the most beautiful fox roaming around in the woods. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. Or I shoot one of the deer that's on my list and I see him out there. I'm like, man, that's, you just know something's different about that day.
I think I had one. It was actually last hunting season, and I had a hawk, and it landed like right in front of a tree, or right in a tree right in front of me. And I was just looking, and I was like, that was that moment. I was like, I went out to the woods. I'm like, just something. I feel something's gonna happen tonight. I feel something's gonna be different about tonight. Nothing happened except for that moment. And it was just kind of like, I don't know what the best word to describe it, but it was just amazing to see that type of thing. I don't know.
It's what you need at the time. You don't know it, but it's something that you need at the time.
Mm-hmm. I do want to make this final thing, this point on mental, before we kind of start wrapping up for tonight. When it comes to hunting, on my aspect of it, like when I'm trying to get ready for hunting, I always look at it like this. Because I'm a sports guy, I'm a very competitive guy. I always got to look at like, I got to beat you. It's got to be me going 1-0 for the day. I always look at like, I'm going to an away game to them. I'm always on their turf, and I got to beat them on their home game.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You always get your butt kicked when you're away. Home team always wins, and it's hard to win on away games. So it's something that I just take it, and it's hard to do.
I love going out, trying to outsmart them. 9 times out of 10, they outsmart me. That other 1% of the time, I just get lucky. That's all it is. Sometimes you just need that dumb luck.
Sometimes it is just luck. Like fish hook. I saw him on a camera on I think it was like the second week of September going into that hunting season. And I was after him hard the entire time. Never saw a photo of him. Never saw him out in the woods. Ever since that photo of him showing up on camera. And then what happens? Dumb fucking luck. I'm sitting out there in the tree and he just randomly shows up. I thought he was gone forever. And I just picked the spot. I'm like, okay. Sometimes it just happens. Just being in the right spot at the right time. It's just fucking luck sometimes.
Dude, that's it. And I'll take it. I'll take it every time. Because typically, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck. But it only takes that one time.
I want to ask you one last question before we start wrapping it up. What's one lesson of hunting has taught you that applies directly to you, real life?
That anything that is so it's you cannot pick up your bow the day before opening season, dust it off, shoot a couple arrows, and be good, right? And
Yeah,
call it
during
good.
rifle season.
Yeah, or rifle season or anything like that. You have to. It's a perishable skill. You're gonna
Mhm.
lose it if you don't do it all the time. So I'm constantly out there shooting. I'm constantly out there taking care of my equipment, making sure that works. Transitioning to my normal 9 to 5 job and life in general, I'm constantly now making sure everything's good for me in my house, making sure my truck's good and running. Just when I get to work, I want to make sure all my stuff's top notch. I want to make sure everything's working. So it's pre-mechanical inspections. I want to make sure everything's good. I ensure that I'm only working with stuff that's gonna work. And this past year, so I used to hunt when I was younger. I'd throw on a pair of jeans and a warm hoodie and go. I'm 43 now and I get cold a lot easier. And I'm starting to learn that if you buy a top quality, equipment, the price sucks, but it's going to last you forever. So now when I buy stuff like, tools or stuff for the house or anything like that, stuff for my kids, it's not it's not always top end stuff, especially with kids because they outgrow it so fast. But I
Mhm.
want to make sure that it's good quality stuff. So instead of buying all like I got my kids Sitka jackets because they're super warm and
Mhm.
it's better than the 1995 Walmart winter jacket that they go outside playing for 10 minutes and now they're cold and wet. Well, now they can have their warm Sitka jackets on while we go sledding. And now instead of being out there for an hour before they get cold, we can be out there all day and they're just fine. So I buy the good stuff in order to spend more quality time with the kids. That sounds weird, but
No, I think
yeah.
for me, it kind of goes off of that too. With it's paying attention to the details and being prepared because you can't. You have to, in my opinion, you have to pay attention to every small little thing out there in the woods, from hunting aspect of being tactical about it, game planning, your equipment, everything related to the actual hunt itself. You have to pay attention to the details. You pay attention to make sure nothing's broken on your equipment. And being prepared, you have to make sure. I generally like to have two of everything. I kind of got lazy about doing that. Last I talked to you, I made sure I gotta make sure I gotta have two of everything.
Yeah.
And I think you and I both agreed. I think we both go into the woods more than what we need to.
Way too much.
Way too much. Like I'm carrying a lot of gear, and like I need to have. And I kind of got lazy before the kids. When around my house, I was like, I can get by. I'll run the store real quick and grab something for me. But now that I got the kids, I gotta make sure I got things in backup and prepared. Like I gotta have I don't know, Q-tips. I gotta have one. I got one pack of Q-tips. I got 5 more just in case I run out of those ones. I don't have time to go to the store. Making
Oh
sure I
yeah.
have everything prepared. I have backups and everything ready to go, so I can kind of restock it. Um, that's how I've taken with everything. And when it comes to the hunting side of it too, is once the season's over with, I gotta go through and look at everything. Like, all right, I'm missing this. What am I not missing here? Or I need to make sure that I readjust this or get something new here because this tweaked or something like that.
Yep.
You constantly have to be prepared. You can't just, like you said perfectly, you can't pick it up a day before hunting season, especially for bow season. You can't pick it up the day before, shoot 5 arrows, and say you're going to be good. No, it
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
work like that. Now, rifle season, you might be able to get away with that, but for gun season, bow season, no, can't do that. Not at all. I think being prepared, and kind of like you said. One last thing I want to say is I don't care if people agree with us. Everyone knows with our show, we say what we want, we speak our minds, we speak how we see it. I don't care if people do agree with us. I just want to make sure that they leave thinking. I want you guys to think outside of this show. Isn't just about giving you tactics. I mean, we'll give you tactics. We'll have shows like that. Don't make me wrong. But this show is also geared towards the overall hunter. That's why I wanted to do this show tonight, the complete hunter. You got hunting, and we'll dive deep into those. But we had a couple shows back in September, I think, where we talked about life lessons. And I said we need to do more shows like that. So this year we are going to be doing more shows like this. And I thought this was a good starting point of the complete whitetail hunter. And if this show helps someone become more patient, be more disciplined or grounded, that's what I think. That's what matters. And if you have any questions about anything, please reach out to us and let us know. And I can't stress enough, pay attention to the details. Can't say that enough. Johnny, do you have any lasting words?
Well, sometimes in life we have smart fellers and fart smellers. And depending on the day, you can either be one or the other. But yeah, just try to be a smart feller.
Well, everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in tonight's live show. I want to say thank you to everyone listening to the audio version. Yeah, you guys all know the intros and outros. I ain't going to be spilling it. You guys know the routine. That's it. That's all I got for us, Johnny.
All right.
We'll see everyone. I just want to at least say our next live show, if I can get my stupid calendar up here real quick. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I should have been prepared. There's me not being prepared. I pulled up at the last second. Yeah, there's January. So the next live show here on Whitetail Advantage is going to be Tuesday, the Frank and Squatch show. There is not going to be, as I said, beginning of this year, we aren't going to be doing shows on Sundays, Tuesdays, the 4th week of the month. So the next show that we got coming up will be Sunday, February 1st. And then after Frank and Squatch show, it's going to be Johnny's show, Mysteries in the Timber, on February 3rd.
Yes, sir.
And look forward to that. With that, everyone, again, thank you. Welcome to the Brotherhood. And we're always here. So reach out to us.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.